Hello and welcome to Unexplained Possibilities Podcast. I'm your host, Melvin the Crimson Taurus, and unfortunately Rose cannot be here today, so instead I have a special guest. From Tarot Wisdoms, Musings of a Modern Day Oracle, we have Erica.
Hello, everyone.
So, Erica, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you, Melvin? Thank you for having me again.
Yeah, no problem. I'm peachy. Oh, yeah. So, fun fact. You are our first repeat.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So, you know what they say. You never forget your first.
Oh, okay.
Although technically you would be the third.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Still good to be here.
Yeah. Awesome. So, what is today's topic?
We are going to talk about Ouija boards and spirit boards.
Awesome. So, do you know the difference between a Ouija board and a spirit board?
Honestly, I do not, but I'm hoping you can educate me on that.
All right. It's fairly simple. Ouija board is basically a spirit board. That's it. A Ouija
so one
board,
and the same. Okay.
Yeah, they're exactly the same. It's just Ouija, the name itself, is trademarked, and it's owned by Hasbro.
Hasbro. Okay.
Okay, while a spirit board, it's something anyone can make. I probably shouldn't be saying this actually, but it's something anyone can make, put their own energy into, and you'll have the same exact results.
Okay.
If you're lucky anyway, you'll get some results. Okay, so to go into a little bit of extra detail, the history of how the Ouija came to be. So, spirit boards in general, they go way back. We've been able to find proof of them existing in 1100 AD in the Song Dynasty in China.
Wow.
They also use the planchet that is similar to what we use now with modern spirit boards. And they've also been found in ancient India, Greece, Rome, even medieval Europe. They've been around for a while, so this type of divination, it's nothing new. The marketing made it new, at least in the 20s and to the 60s.
I could definitely see that. I know in the early turn of the century, it was really popular to have like seances and things like that.
February 10th, 1891, Elijah Bond was issued a patent on the planchet along with a lettered board. And they just called it the talking board at the time. It wasn't anything too special. Eventually, a couple of years passed, and production of the talking board fell into the hands of William Fuld. I cannot pronounce this last name. William Fuld. F-U-L-D.
F-U-L-D. Fuld, maybe?
William Fuld. And sometimes this guy, he's mistaken as the inventor of the Ouija board, but he isn't. He just took over production. And in 1901, he started to produce his own board under the name Ouija. So he put the name there. Yeah, he gave it the name, but he didn't actually invent it.
Okay.
He was very brilliant marketer, though.
Yeah, and that's about like the Victorian Edwardian era. That was, the era when it was like super popular to have these, seances in your home and things like that. So it makes sense that, that it falls around the same time frame when he saw an interest in it to start marketing it like that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's pretty cool.
Charles Kennard, and we're getting ready to go into the name for a bit. Charles Kennard, who manufactured the Ouija boards for William Fuld, he said that the name Ouija came from the board itself, and it was Egyptian for good luck.
Oh.
Yeah, don't believe that.
No, that's why it made me laugh.
Yeah. It's the more accepted belief is that the name is actually a combination of the French and German words for yes.
Okay.
So, I tend to believe that. I mean, I speak a little French, and oui is definitely yes.
Mm-hmm.
Later on, Well, Folds Estate, this is after he passed away. Folds Estate sold the business to the Parker brothers in 1966, who eventually sold it to Hasbro in 1991, and they still sell the board and they market it as a toy, which is a big no-no in my opinion.
Exactly. I have my own story about that toy.
Oh boy. Now that that's out the way, we can get into it. This thing
It's awesome.
is not a toy. Anything where you can speak to the dead or potentially speak to the dead is not a toy. You should not play with it like it's a toy, but at the same time, you shouldn't say it's an evil son of a monkey's uncle either, because it's still just a board. I mean, it's an inanimate object. And I like to tell people that Ouija boards aren't evil. They could be dangerous, but they're not evil. They're like a telephone. If you just randomly dial numbers, who knows who's going to pick up?
Truth.
In your opinion, do you think these boards are evil?
I mean, it's like with anything you do. It depends on the intent behind it. You know what I mean? I think that there's a possibility, like you said, to dial the wrong number. And you have to be willing and prepared to, deal with that if you are, playing with this thing. You never know what you're going to get, I guess. But do I think they're evil? No. Like I said, it depends on the intent behind it. I probably personally wouldn't play around with it. But that doesn't mean I think it's evil. So I guess it's kind of an ambiguous answer from me. I really can't say for sure. I don't know. It's kind of confusing for me. It's sensitive topic, I guess. If you're willing to, I guess, put your energy into it, I guess, depending on the intent behind it is what I think you will get. Does that make sense?
It makes sense to me. You get what you put out.
Yeah.
Not saying that you want to speak to Elvis and you put in the energy for Elvis, you're going to get Elvis. I mean, it's still a two-way street. These spirits, they kind of want to have to speak to you as well, I believe.
Yeah.
And again, though, since we don't really know the proper way of using these things, it's a roll of the dice.
I agree with that. Like I said, you never know what you're going to get. But like I said, if you're willing to do it, you have to be prepared.
And that's one of the biggest things people just aren't. They're just not prepared for some of the consequences of bringing in something that's not so nice. I mean, there are different ways to protect yourself. I don't know all of them, but salt around the board, and of course burning of certain candles, sage, even the stuff that you use to, I can't pronounce the name still, but the stuff you use when you're doing your tarot.
Palo Santo?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to attempt. So, there are ways, but even then, nothing is foolproof. I mean, if something wants to come through and you open that door,
exactly,
it's coming through.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because, I get so many, trolls on YouTube basically saying I'm a devil worshiper, I'm all these things, I'm evoking spirits when I do my readings and all that stuff. No. You know what I mean? I'm not. I mean, I don't know if other people do that when they read their cards. If they're asking for spirits to help them read the cards and stuff like that. I personally don't do that. I do think that as I'm reading cards, I am allowing myself to be open to receive, but no way am I like inviting or invoking anything while I do it. I think it's the same kind of, thing. You're opening yourself up to the spirit world. So I guess it depends on what your intent behind it is when you're doing it. You can definitely invite the wrong things in. I don't feel I'm inviting anything in when I'm doing my reading. So it's safe to say that no, I'm not. I'm not, like what a lot of the trolls say to me. You know, it's kind of insane, but they kind of give it the same vibe as if I was playing with the Ouija board. You know, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. But it's not the same thing, guys.
You hear that? Not the same thing. Yeah, I have noticed that you don't ask the spirit, like, if there are any spirits here, guide me. You know, you don't do that.
No, I don't do that.
I've seen one other tarot user. Yes, I'm cheating on you. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I've seen one other tarot user actually ask spirits for guidance, and she was more so speaking to guardian angels or spirit guides than anything else. So that was the only person. So
yeah, and I think it's because it's a sensitive, you know, it's something sensitive that you're doing here. You are really opening yourself up. Maybe your own spirit, you know, to receive intuition and all of these things that naturally flow within us all. So you are opening yourself up. In a sense, you are kind of vulnerable in that state because it's a semi-meditative state that you're in. Well, I feel that I'm in when I'm, you know, doing my cards. And I think that's what allows me to receive the messages and open myself up to hear them and, you know, listen to myself or, you know, quote unquote intuition as I'm doing the cards. So yeah, I'm in a very sensitive place when I'm reading them. So I can only imagine if, you know, you put yourself in that same trance or that same state of, you know, meditation as you're doing a Ouija, what you could possibly invite in at that time.
Yeah, it's
like
kind
that's,
of
yeah.
It's kind of a double-edged sword too, because if you're closed off, you won't get anything. But if you open yourself up too much, you'll get a lot, and it could possibly lead to possession. I mean, there are stories of entities coming through and possessing people. One story, and I'm going to credit Darren Evans with this, and people who are in the Ouija community or spirit boards and they study this stuff, you've heard of Darren Evans and the Zozo demon or the Z entities, and we'll get into that a little later. Crediting him with this, he was telling me and a few others about a person who wrote to him on his website and how she had a negative encounter with said Z entity, and it somehow somewhat partially possessed her hands and got her to do, you know, somewhat sexual stuff. You want to avoid that. Yeah, so it's like, man, if you open yourself too much, something horrible like this could happen, but if you stay closed off, then it's a blank experience. So,
yeah,
you know, it's just a double-edged sword.
Yeah, I mean, you can, meditation, I think, is almost that. Like, you're trying to tap into your own, you know, spirit, you know, and all that to get, you know, peace of mind, calm, clarity, all of those things. But it's almost like I think when you're doing stuff like that, you're opening up not only your door to yourself, but then to everybody else too, like leaving it wide open. And you could almost become, I think, you know, a vessel at that point.
Could you imagine for people who are more psychically inclined and you're messing around with that? I mean,
wow.
I would, if I were a spirit, I would shoot for them immediately because they're already more open to the universe.
And sensitive, yes.
So it's like, oh, easy pickings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like...
I could see that.
A friend of mine, I'm trying to get her on. We've just been having scheduling problems, but Natalie Rodriguez, and she is a psychic medium, a couple other things, and she had some dealings with negative entities like that, and they went right for her because she's just open and in tune, you know?
Yeah, it's so funny. You know, we're talking about like maybe feeling like, you know, presences around you or being open to receive these things, right? But you know, sometimes like I don't consider myself, like, I'm sensitive, yes, and I do my tarot and you know, I tap into my own stuff, my own energy to read, but like just in everyday life, sometimes as I'm doing this more and more, I wonder how much more sensitive I'm becoming. So your friend obviously is super sensitive, to the point where she experienced that. But like, what about like the little things that you question yourself about in every day? And I'll give you an example. I was at work the other day. I was just minding my own business, in my cubicle, and I felt somebody pull my hair, and there was nobody around me.
Uh-oh.
And then I go into the kitchen, and there's nobody in the kitchen, and I'm like making my lunch, for work, and obviously at my office. And I'm making my lunch, and I could have sworn I saw somebody pass behind me, and I turn around, there's nobody there. So like, you kind of gotta wonder,
Yeah.
once you start doing stuff like this, how sensitive are you really becoming?
Well,
the more you do it.
Yeah, they often say the more you do it, the more more things are gonna happen to you. You're going to become more sensitive because you're becoming more in tune. You're getting this energy around you, and it's the law of attraction. You're starting to attract things. Just like with UFOs, I tell people, if you see 1 or 2 UFOs, believe me, you're going to see a lot more. And if you start seeing them, they're seeing you.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Be prepared for a visit. And, so far, that's been pretty accurate in that field.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm feeling little nuances here and there, and I'm starting to question what the heck's going on,
Yeah, so, okay, I won't be hanging out with you this summer, or next summer, sorry. I don't need Casper around.
Something.
The other thing with spirit boards, and people have talked about this, it's happened to almost everyone who's used it. It's a type of addiction you get, and I don't know if it's because it's something like a shiny new toy and the whole world just opened up, or if it's the spirits that are drawing your attention, using your energy, and bringing you back for it. But it's always an addiction. People get hooked on it to where I have to do it. I have to learn more. I have to talk more. I have to communicate, And go ahead.
No, I'm just wondering, like, is it because they're using it to get answers to their problems? And maybe that's what it is. They figure instead of maybe just, tapping into their own sense of knowing or, themselves to guide themselves through life, they're seeking out the board to give them the answers to everything.
I think that's part of it. And I think it's another part to it because some people have said they just use it just to use, not for anything in particular. Like they just feel the need to use it. Like they have to do it. And it's like something is drawing them towards it and it's in their head. Oftentimes that is the first signs of you're going to get possessed. It's like the idea has been planted, the seed has been planted, and it's just starting to grow more and more, and you're opening yourself up more and more.
Yeah, I could see that. That's kind of scary.
And I want to say, too, be careful what you ask for when using a spirit board, because sometimes the answers you get back, you may not want. One of the most popular questions to ask is, when am I going to die?
Well, that's a no-no. Also with tarot, we don't no, we won't answer that. Any ethical tarot reader would not answer that question.
And I'm going to direct you guys to this book. And again, it's The Zozo Phenomenon, written by Darren Evans and Rosemary Ellen Guiley. We just put up a review for it. And a lot of the stuff we're talking about right now, Darren Evans did, and it's a really good read, and I advise everyone, if you're into Ouija boards, if you want to know, like, just a little bit more about the unknown, and one man's experiences, and what his research has led to, definitely pick up the Zozo phenomenon. It's a good little guide. It's only 217 pages, but anyway, yeah, Darren Evans, he went through that. He asked that question, or his friends asked that question, and they got the answer. And I don't want to spoil what's in there, but it's shocking, and it's all 100% true. Oftentimes, if you have an evil spirit, it'll tell you. It will tell you right away. Sometimes, though, what it tells you doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to physically die. It could potentially mean that a part of you, or a piece of you, is going to go away. You know, it could be metaphorically speaking, but the thing is, they're always right. Something
so like maybe a life-changing event, maybe that would transform you, type of thing.
Exactly. So just real freaky stuff. Another very popular question, which I don't know why people ask, but they like asking, are demons real and are angels real? You know, and you never really get a straight answer. I mean, yeah, you get a straight answer with the demons, but you never really get a straight answer with the angels. So, and what that does is, you know, it makes you question things, because we really don't know diddly squat about demons. I mean, and this is assuming people listening actually believe in demons to begin with. You know, I do. But I'm kind of weird. What about you, Erica?
Well, even if you don't, I think you have to just understand the basic principles of, you know, everything has an opposite. I mean, that's just the way the world works. It's what yin and yang is all about. So, you know, there's good, there's bad, there's love, there's hate, there's, you know, there's black, there's white. Everything has, you know, a polar opposite. So even if you don't believe in let's say I guess they're not admitting that there's angels, but for the simple fact that there supposedly demons exist, then there would have to be a good version, or a good side. There's a good side to every negative, or positive to every negative, and every negative to every positive. That's the only way we understand life. We have to understand the opposite of something in order to understand something fully. So either way, I still think, you know, if they don't want to answer directly, let's say, you kind of have to think that there has to be an opposite. So that's just my opinion.
It's a good opinion. Since you're somewhat less than informed, I don't mean that in a negative way.
No, you're fine.
What's something that you would like to know about spirit boards that I might be able to answer? Something in the back of your mind that you just wanted to ask?
That's a good question. I almost feel like, I guess what the difference would be between using it on your own versus a group of people.
Okay, well, on your own, you're just going to have your energy into it, and it might not be enough energy going through for a spirit to somewhat manifest and speak to you. But at the same time, it's more personal, and it's more concentrated, and you're more likely to speak to whom you want to speak to, because oftentimes these boards, they're used for good intentions, like trying to contact a dead family member. It's just somewhere along the line it goes into the opposite direction, you know, and it's almost like a little trap. But anyway, when you're on your own, you're just putting in your personal energy so you can hopefully create a bridge to that specific entity that you wish to speak with. But you're also more susceptible because it's just you.
Ah, I see.
And again, things may or may not work because it may or may not be enough energy. And in a group, you have all this active energy going into the board, but no one's necessarily concentrating on one single thing.
Mhm.
So the board could go here, there, everywhere. And this is how a lot of times how not so nice spirits come through because lack of concentration and focus, and it pops up and it's kind of jokey and all that, and and once it's there, and then it has control over the board, and it'll block everyone else or whatever from speaking to you.
Interesting.
I also want to bring up too, when you're by yourself, you're more likely to do something called ideomotor response, or the ideomotor effect. All right.
What is that all about?
Okay, so what this is, it's a type of psychological. What's the correct word? I'm trying to think of how I could put this in its simplest form. All right, you are subconsciously answering yourself through the board through muscle movements that are so tiny and small you don't even notice. Like it's a subconscious thing. For instance, let's say you're using a board and you ask, should I wear red today? And subconsciously, you want to wear red. Subconsciously. Yeah. But the ideomotor effect will basically have you go to yes, but you're not feeling yourself actually move the planchet. That's how small the muscle factor is in this. And you're going to R-E-D. And you're like, oh my God, a ghost moved it. Holy smokes. So when you're by yourself, that's more likely to happen as opposed to being in a group. Because if you ask a group, like in a group, you ask a very personal question, like, and again, you got to remember too, like in a group, you have 3-4 fingers on the planchet. So, they would go everywhere.
Yeah.
But you ask a personal question such as, what is my great-grandmother's maiden name? How's everyone in the group supposed to know that except for you?
Truth.
And so when that happens, if it actually goes to the name, chances are it's not you. It's not ideomotor. It's something communicating with you.
Yeah, I could see that, but like I can't help but kind of relate it back to, the cards, because couldn't the same thing be said about, the tarot cards?
Well,
in a sense, you're subconsciously picking the cards that you need to know, or?
Well, I think what it is with that, because you shuffle cards.
Uh-huh.
And that by itself would cancel out any subconscious effect of you trying,
Gotcha.
Picking out something like that. And you can't see them. I mean, unless you have little marks on them that somehow you have muscle memory and you could just feel it and it's like instantly, I don't think that effect would work with tarot cards.
Okay. Yeah, I could, but I couldn't help but think about that because, your subconscious is kind of picking these cards in a sense.
Yeah, it is, but it's a different type, especially since you're not getting very specific answers. You have to piece the answers together. That's where your subconscious might play a role.
Ah, okay, gotcha.
And that's where it's like, okay, I'm seeing this and this, but could it be this and that,
Yeah, that's why it's easier to read for other people for me, because of that. I don't have anything kind of getting in the way of my, it's basically very, objective in that sense with other people. But for me, I got my own problems in the way. So then it kind of affects my reading for myself, that is.
I still need to do a reading with you.
Yes.
I keep forgetting. And I want to record it, but I will probably do that for my birthday.
And that's when, December?
December?
Sometime?
No.
Oh, you said Capricorn?
No, what is wrong with you?
I could have sworn you were Capricorn. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's even in my little
thinking
nick.
Capricorn? Yeah, I know. I don't know why I'm thinking Capricorn. There must be a reason for that.
Let's see. Who do I know that's a Capricorn? What, No one I know is a Capricorn at the moment.
Okay. All right. Maybe I'll figure that out later.
Yeah, that's something relating to someone else. So, who is a Capricorn? Now that's gonna bug me.
Yeah, I'm thinking myself, like, what's going on? Why did I keep thinking that in my head? Like the other day, I kept writing a date, 9/9, and it wasn't 9/9, it was like 9/6, and I kept writing 9/9. I was like, why am I writing this number? And I did it like 5 times. I'm like, why can't I get the date right? And I was like, God, me and my superstition sometimes, I'm like, I hope nothing bad happens 9/9. You know what I mean?
Well, did you check the numerology on it?
No, I didn't get a chance to, but I probably should.
Okay, guys, we're gonna take a detour right now. We're gonna check this out.
Isn't it supposed to be like a lucky number?
In in parts of Asia, it's considered to be a lucky number because it's the highest single-digit number.
Okay. And then I thought everything reverts back to 9 anyway.
I hope not, because I don't like odd numbers.
Well, I could have. My friend told me one time that if you times anything by, I forgot by what number. I have it in one of my videos. I put the little note in there before because I had been told about it, and this one reading got a lot of 9s in it. So I remembered that fact and then put it in the detail or description box. I guess every number somehow reverts back to 9 when you break it down, or when you times it by a certain number, it still comes back down to 9. It's so weird. Your birthday can do it. Any date that you can input, it will come back to 9. It's crazy. But anyway,
9
that was side note.
Symbolizes endings and spiritual consciousness.
Oh.
People with 9 can overcome a lot, often required to do so in their life. If you have a life path number 9, you most likely had difficult relationship with one or both of your parents early in your life. Number of completion, resolution. You will need to make choices and not resist ending. So it looks like 9 is all about conclusions.
Nice.
So what are you concluding?
I don't know. I'll have to think about that one. Had a lot of stuff going on.
Okay, guys, detour is over.
Yep.
I'm thinking in the back of my head. I'm like, I wonder if I should edit some of this stuff out. I kind of like it.
Hey, up to you.
Well, no.
Your podcast.
Since we're somewhat talking about entities with the Ouija boards and the spirit boards, there is, of course, one particular entity that is synonymous with it. And that is, and I don't really like saying this name. That's why I'm like, ugh. So it is the Zozo demon.
Such a weird name.
It is a weird name.
You think he could have a little bit more of a badass name?
Well,
it sounds like a clown name, to be honest.
Well, hey, you're thinking of Bozo.
Yeah, I guess so.
Now, here's the thing. Rose said the same exact thing, just about, and she was making fun, like, Zozo? What's a Zozo?
I can so see that.
It's so stupid. What kind of name is Zozo? Oh, I'm Zozo.
Or, like, how can you be scared of it? You know what I mean? Like, that name.
Here's the thing, though, and Darren Evans tuned me into this, and I know I'm bringing his name up a lot, but again, he, in my opinion, he is the authority when it comes to this thing. I mean, he's the one who pretty much brought it on the map. He said one of the least used letters in the alphabet is the Z.
Okay.
It's mysterious, it's pronounced weird, and it has some interesting, findings behind it. I mean, it was actually banned in a couple of countries for a minute. It took a while to actually bring it back.
The letter Z.
The letter Z.
Such controversy for a letter or character. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, it gets even more interesting because here's the thing. Even though it's a weird name, it's a name you're going to remember. Zozo. You can't forget that.
And simple to remember.
Exactly. Yeah. And he thinks that that's part of the reason behind the name. Is it his real name? Doubtful. But it's something there. It's like, huh, I can remember this. And then, of course, there is Zozo, Z-O-S-O, the name used for something with Led Zeppelin, I believe.
Huh. Which reminds me of how many times have they said that if you play rock and roll music backwards, you know, that kind of, when you said
God.
Led Zeppelin, I couldn't help but think of that.
Yeah, there's so many times. I don't know if it's true or not. I've never done. I do have a record player here, like plays vinyl, so authentic. So
yeah, might have to give that one a shot.
Well, not here. I won't.
Not while invoking that particular name. He shall not be mentioned. So
the name can be found all throughout history. I mean, freaking Aleister Crowley. He actually used a Ouija board for some of it. Well, a spirit board for some of his experiments and stuff, and he came across a Z entity.
Wow.
You know, I don't know if it's the same one or not.
Yeah, Crowley's synonymous with like the occult and everything like that, so it doesn't surprise me.
I mean, and I don't know if I should be admitting this or not, but I'm a huge fan of his. I really like...
Manly P. Hall's another one, too.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So I just looked it up real quick. I was right. And this is from the Zozo Phenomenon. In 1971, Led Zeppelin released his fourth album, which was untitled. Signed on the inner sleeve were 4 symbols chosen by the 4 members of the band. 3 of the symbols were familiar from historic lore, but the 4th, created by lead guitarist Jimmy Page, was a mystery. It was the Zoso symbol, Z-O-S-O. You know, so it's like, wow, it is so similar to Zozo, you know, and we know Jimmy Page, he was into the paranormal supernatural. The other thing, too, is this guy, we actually might be giving him more power and precedence by saying his name and actually acknowledging his existence, its existence.
I could see that. That applies to a lot of things, though.
Exactly. So, you know, it's something to be considered because until recently, he wasn't really heard of. I mean, it's been around, but it's really blown up. I mean, Knott's Berry Farms has a Zozo attraction coming. You have this book, The Zozo Phenomenon. You have a movie, I Am Zozo. It's something to it. Why is he starting it? I keep saying he. I really should be saying it. But I guess I say he because it mostly comes as a he. But why are we giving this thing so much attention? I mean, are we actually increasing its power? Is it going to stay? What is happening here?
I honestly think that when you think of anything enough, or what you think persists? Have you ever heard of that saying?
No, I have not.
Well, basically it's like what you put out there, what you give energy, what you I guess are persistent or consistently conscious of, and that's where your thoughts are all the time, that is what will manifest. I mean, a lot of people believe like in affirmations. Like if you say, I am successful, I am, happy. Like if you start putting those thoughts into your conscious, then you start to become those things. So I think it maybe the same thing ties into that. Like if you're giving this thing, energy, it becomes, or it has, I guess it exists in a sense, if that makes any sense.
It does. It does. There was talk that it could be a tulpa. Do you know what that is?
I do not know what that is.
Basically, something born out of nothing due to the power of thought. So we think it into existence.
Okay, similar to the kind of, you said it so much more clear than I ever could. But it's the same kind of vibe or feeling in the sense. Yeah.
So, a lot of people are saying the Slender Man is a tulpa or something, or is becoming one, which I am like, no, that's malarkey. It started off as a little cheap, scary video game, and people just ran wild with it.
Is that, I've heard of kids doing something with that. I'm so out of touch.
No, it's okay. This is something you don't want to be in touch with. It's stupid. You're A-okay on this one. Although I do feel bad because there was a case with this Slender Man thing where it was 3 girls went to a forest, and 2 of the girls they killed their friend, and they said that the Slender Men, they had to do it as a sacrifice, or it was going to come and kill them or something. It's like, oh.
So that is the story I heard then.
Okay. So,
I am familiar with that.
Yeah, so just horrible all around, like I know something needs to be done, but at the same time, these are little girls who truly believe that some type of boogeyman was going to come for them. And it's like, this is just a bad situation. What do you do here?
I almost think that, it also, well, going into a whole nother topic here, but hello, parenting. Where are the morals? Where's the compassion being taught to these kids that they felt the need to do that? But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so far nothing like that's happened with the Z entity that we know of. So hopefully it stays that way. But this thing, it shows up almost everywhere. Almost every time you use a Ouija board, it seems like. And I have a working theory. I think that when you come in contact with this thing, like the first time, it touches you and leaves a part of itself in you to where it will always be able to show up whenever you touch a spirit board.
So kind of like a parasite.
Almost like, yeah, exactly like a parasite, yes. And I think it's very hard to get rid of because you don't know about it. And I think it's the thing that's implanting the thought in the back of your head where go and use the board. It's going to be fun. Go and use it. I mean, I can't prove it, of course, but that's just something I think. Because Rose, she's messed around with the spirit boards, and she's come in contact with this thing 2 or 3 times. The first time, she was just laughing about it, and just like, whatever, you're an idiot, and cursing it out and stuff. And it didn't hit her until later, where it's like, wait a second, that could have been partial possession. It was like, because she was saying she started to laugh a little bit too hard and was going at it a little bit too rough. And, it didn't hit her until later where it's like, And, she did some other stuff again, trying to communicate with their spirit dolls, and it showed up again. And she's like, you're not welcomed here. Go away. And that's something that people probably should do when it shows up. Don't give it any attention. Don't talk to it. Don't try to play around. Because that's how it gets you. And wow. I know I sound like a paranoid freak, but it's true. That's how it gets you. And people invite this thing into their world. Why would you do that?
Yeah, it's crazy because when I was talking to my friend over the weekend, we had been some strangers just got on this topic, but it was basically his idea was, I think you have to invite this kind of energy into your life. I don't think it just randomly shows up. And I think maybe the spirit board is one way to do that.
Yeah, I mean, and when it's there, it's there. I mean, it's like trying to get rid of roaches.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, exactly. So, and Darren Evans, like I was talking to him a couple of weeks back, and I told him, after reading his book, I told him, you should never touch a Ouija board ever again. Because I think that thing is I don't think
Run.
it's with him, but I think it has a very strong connection to him. And
Well, he's already branded himself as maybe this is where maybe like a carrier in a sense.
yeah, I mean, well, here's the thing. Z Entity, it's almost like a cat. You know, you don't own a cat. A cat owns you.
Yeah.
That's how I believe it's like, no, you don't own me. You don't tell me what to do. I own you, and I'm always going to be there watching whether you like it or not.
So he's already kind of labeled in the sense of, you know, maybe having already had contact with it.
Yeah, well, he's the guy who brought it main. He had a lot of contact with it. So, and I think if he touches a board, it's just going to show up. I mean, it might hide for a second, but it's still going to show up. And that's the other thing, too. This thing, it's a master manipulator and liar and fabricator. At the same time, it's always going to tell you the truth. Half-truths, but it's still the truth. For instance, I'll say, Erica, do you think I'm handsome? And you would reply, knowing you haven't seen me, you would reply, oh, yeah, I mean...
Sure you are.
Yeah, sure you are, even though I have no idea what you look like. And, you know, you could follow it up to someone out there, you know? So, you're telling the truth, but it's a half-truth. It's like,
yeah.
So, Erica, do you think I'm handsome?
This is a trick question. I'm not falling for it.
So, yeah, this thing, it's messed up. And it has so many different personalities, it comes off as a trickster. Oftentimes when it first shows up, it's happy and giddy and like, let's play! It'll slowly turn into something else, a bit more aggressive, and it'll start being a bit more sexual. You know, especially if you're a woman. Oh man, he goes to work on you guys, which makes us think it's like some type of sexual entity. And from that, it'll go into just full-on demonic. Like, I'm going to kill you. Go kill yourself. Or, I'm going to murder everyone. I want your blood.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, it's like, what is this bipolar nutcase doing here?
And that's when I want to say, well, you asked for it.
Yeah, but a lot of times, people, they didn't ask for it. It will show up. And
even without the spirit board use, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, okay. It could show up on multiple things. You know, it's shown up on EVPs. It has shown up using pendulums.
Okay.
And it's shown up in dreams. And I'm assuming it's actually shown up somewhat in person. Not too long ago, on Sci-Fi, Paranormal Witness. Have you ever heard of that show?
No, I don't even have cable, Melvin. This is how out of touch I am. I'm in my own little bubble.
We're going to have to do something about this.
I'm serious. No, I have not heard of the show.
Well, darn. Basically, they find paranormal stories and they reenact what happened and stuff. So,
okay.
It was this family. They moved into what's known as the Zozo house, and trippy things happened, and the family that was there before, they just left in a hurry, and they left all their furniture there for some reason, you know, so that's already a bad sign to me. Like,
well, see, this is where some of the stuff I grew up with, this starts reminding me of that.
Uh-oh.
Because my grandmother, she was Afro-Caribbean, okay? And she always had strange kind of like quirky things about what she believed. And she always thought that furniture and objects carried energy, okay? Even buildings, you know, she believed all this stuff. And she would call it, in Spanish, she would say mala vibra. So like bad vibes or bad energy. So whenever we would like bring something in from, I guess from a yard sale or whatever, she would like kind of pray over it to like cleanse it before putting it in the house. So and this is actually something I still kind of hold with me. I sage and smudge stuff before I bring it in the house if it's not mine previously. And I think part of that thinking is from her. I still carry that with me from her.
You see that?
But I can see why they didn't want to take the furniture. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's like my mom. She's very, very careful with what she picks up because she believes that energy sticks with things, and I believe.
Yeah, I do too.
There are different energies in certain items, and if it's a negative energy, you don't want that.
That's right. Which reminds me of the television I brought at a yard sale one time. It was $5, perfect condition. It worked. They plugged it in on the spot. And you could see that you could get some channels through the antenna. So we figured, okay, well, you plug in the cable, it's going to work just fine. Put it in the room in the middle of the night. Like I think we had it for like 5 days. In the middle of the night, it turned on at like 3 a.m. and all you had was white and black wash. The
the white
really,
noise.
Oh my God, really loud, so loud, and it woke us up like, something awful. And we were like, okay, this is weird. So we turned the television off. It happened like the next day. The same thing happened again. And we were like, what the heck is going on here? So we unplugged it. And then the third night it happened while it was unplugged. And at that point I was like, all right, time to get rid of the television. It's going outside now. 4 a.m. Here I am putting the television outside. On the curb. Oh. Never again. I swear.
They say the white noise, if you put in a VHS tape, a blank VHS tape, and record it, you can actually hear spirit voices and stuff from it.
Wow. Well, I had my experience, and yeah, I'll never bring anything into my house again that doesn't belong to me without smudging it first. And that took me back to my grandmother's thinking as well. I had a spirit board, a Ouija board. I had asked my mom I heard my girlfriends talk. I was like 9 and all my friends were talking about it. And I said, well, I want one. And I had my mom go out and get me one. She's just like, yeah, okay, whatever. My mom's like she was a very super open-minded person. So she goes out and gets it for me. I bring it back, and I spent a lot of time with my grandma, at my grandmother's house, and I had it with me. And all my friends from the neighborhood were sitting on the porch with me, and we had this thing out in the open. And my grandmother comes out and says, in Spanish, like, what the heck do you have there? That's, she would say, cosa del diablo, or like things of the devil. You don't play with that. And she scared the bejesus out of me. And my mom, she took it away from me, took it back to the store, and I never, ever had, any kind of contact with one ever again.
That's probably not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But I want to say, oh wait, let me finish.
Naive children playing with things they don't know about.
Yeah, exactly. Again though, I want to bust this myth right now. The board itself, it's not evil. Again, it's just an inanimate object. It's a tool.
Mm-hmm.
What you do with that tool is dependent on the person.
I said, yep, all about the intent.
It's not evil, and unfortunately, it's a lot of religious groups. I won't be specific, but it's a lot of religious groups out there, and they're so quick to just say it's the work of the devil, it's demons, and it really isn't. I mean, it was created by man to communicate with things in the unknown, of course, but it certainly wasn't created by the devil.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy because, like, my grandmother was a very spiritual person. She also was, religious in the sense that she went to church, but she also believed in, like, metaphysical stuff, too. So it's kind of a contradiction with her. But, yeah, for her to say that,
Like a starburst, a juicy contradiction.
Yeah.
So, it's cool. I mean, she's open-minded. She was open-minded where, it's like she could see beyond certain things.
Uh-huh.
She didn't limit herself because a lot of times religious people, they'll limit their thinking like, nope, it's whatever it says in this book. That's it. What, are you kidding me? Do you know how many
Yeah.
times this thing was rewritten and
Mm-hmm.
and things
And how
taken?
many books were left out of it?
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah,
come
we
on.
could go on and on.
We don't even talk about the Book of Enoch.
I know. Trust me, I know about that one.
So, you
Yeah.
know, but
But she knew that there was something more beyond this world.
yeah, it's just at the same time though, she was cautious,
Yes.
which is smart. You know, I'm cautious, but not in the religious sense. In the sense of I'm not doing that. You do
Yeah.
it. You know,
I'm totally with you on that one.
yeah, I'm that jerk. I'll make someone else do it while I take the pictures from far
While
away.
you look on at a distance,
Yeah.
right?
So I am not a field person.
Yeah, it's one of those things like it's fascinating. The topics are absolutely fascinating, but would I personally want to indulge myself in doing something like that? No. Let somebody else go ahead and experiment, I'm going to
Okay.
just watch on the sideline.
Well, let's say I will give you and a friend or whomever, I will give you tickets, fly you guys to Australia so you can meet Rose on the condition that you and Rose have to mess with the Ouija board for 30 minutes.
No, I don't think I could do it. I really don't think I could.
All expenses paid.
No.
2-week vacation.
Mm-mm. No. The reason for that is you have to understand, because of what I do, I don't want, no, I'm already very open. I don't want to.
I don't need to push my luck.
Yeah, I don't want to open myself up to anything that I don't want in my surroundings,
I understand.
So no.
Now,
I'm very protective of my craft as well, so.
Would you consider meeting her spirit dolls?
Nope, probably not, no.
Oh!
No. And it's I don't know. I'll give you maybe a reason why. And it doesn't really have anything to do with what they are per se, but just my own fear of dolls. I had when I was 6, I was staying at a friend's mutual family friend vacation home, and she had this one, and they still tease me about it to this day, and I'm a grown woman, but she had this one room full of porcelain dolls, like vintage antique dolls, the ones with the eyes that would flip open and close, flip open and close. And that is where I had to sleep. And I could not sleep the whole time we stayed with them because of all the dolls in that room. Do you see what I mean? So I'm cool. I don't need that.
That's understandable. That could be kind of free. Oh, you'd hate the Island of Dolls. Oh, you'd cry. I'm going to send you a video on that.
Do that. I'll probably watch it for 2 seconds and turn it off.
Yeah, the Ghost Adventures crew went there. Yeah. But yeah, I'm definitely going to send you a video on that.
Well, you know how some people have a fear of clowns or whatever?
Yeah.
I just don't like dolls.
Understandable. Some of them are creepy. Even understandable with the clowns. A lot of times, people's fear of clowns. Thank you, Stephen King. It came from It.
Yeah.
Freaking Pennywise. So I don't have a fear of clowns because I watched Bozo growing up.
Okay, well, you saw the good version. Like I said, everything there's a good and a bad to everything.
Yeah. No. I'm actually afraid of bees.
Bees?
Terrified. I've never been stung, and I don't like the buzzing. I hate buzzing, and I'm terrified of them.
Okay.
When bugs buzz by, and I panic. I'm like, ah!
I'm not afraid of bees. I do like spiders.
Oh.
I love mantis and grasshoppers and crickets. What I don't like is they're called silverfish. Do you know what those are?
Yeah.
They have a million. They're just the creepiest things ever. I don't like those. So I understand. We all have our fears.
Yeah. So, but in the paranormal sense, well, since I haven't done anything, I technically have no fear of anything. I am just wouldn't want to mess with anything.
Same. Yeah.
Even the Zozo entity, I think oftentimes he pretends to be bigger and badder than what he actually is. He's bipolar. I mean,
Neurotic, maybe.
yeah, I mean, it is freaky though. I mean, I wouldn't want to mess with it, and he has been known to do some messed up things. He also has 2 little partners in crime. This is where it's going to get interesting, because it's another Z entity named Zaza, and then you have Mama.
Are they women, female? Zaza
We
sounds like a girl's name.
we really don't know. I mean, we can assume, but we really don't know. But according to Darren Evans, Mama might actually be another name for Lilith, the mother of all demons.
Oh.
Yes. And she shows up on the Ouija board. Like, if you get Zozo, eventually you're going to get Mama and Zaza. And it's weird because they're kind of, they will fight over the board. Like, they will literally fight trying to get control over it.
I wonder if it's because, I mean, think about it. How many people have them? It's probably very few. So whatever chance that they can get, they're probably going to fight over it to come through. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But now, here's the thing. What if they're actually one and the same?
Ah.
Or, and again, Darren and I, we were going over this a little bit. What if the Zozo entity isn't an entity, it's entities? And it's just a common name that a lot of entities use because, you know, they wouldn't give their real name. If you have someone's name, you have power.
Okay.
You know, I mean, it's true. Even in today's society, like, if I knew your full name, or not if I knew your full name, like, if someone gets your full name, they could do a lot of stuff with it. Then a couple of little numbers here and there, they could ruin your credit. You know, they could start buying a bunch of junk, you know, and it's nothing you can really do about it. They have that power over you. It might be briefly, but it can affect you in a major way.
Truth.
So, same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. It's so funny. I don't know if, are you into you are, do you like numerology, right?
Yeah, I'm into it.
Okay. I heard somewhere where the O and the Z, okay, and I know it's, you know, backwards for his name or the other way around for his name, but the O and the Z have something to do with some kind of, Mason numerology or something, Masonic numerology. Maybe you could look into that and figure it out and let me know.
Yeah,
But
I'll look
OZ,
into it.
yeah, O and Z. So it's kind of, you know, that name kind of reminded me of that. So I don't know if, you know, the Masons, and I mean, you're into obviously Crowley. He was a Mason, I believe. And some of the numerology has to do with what they believe or their worship or Luciferian or Saturn worship.
Well, sometimes he did show up. He'll show up and use OZ to somewhat just have some fun and disguise himself, I guess.
Ah, okay.
So, you know, but yeah, that's something I'll definitely look into and have a follow-up show. Yeah, so the Mama, the Zaza, the Zozo, and Mama could potentially be another name for Lilith. And then their names could actually just be generic and used for a butt ton of other things. Or it could just be Zozo pretending to be everyone. And
split personality much, huh?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we don't know. And he's so chaotic, we can't really tell. We can't really get a feed.
Yeah.
One thing is for sure, though, the personalities between the three are somewhat different. Zaza tends to be a little less aggressive, and Zozo is like in between them. And then Mama can be extremely aggressive, and she's the one who will talk about killing you the most.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, but yes, that
Yeah,
is.
it just boggles me how anybody could see that as fun, being like threatened
I
like
think
that.
I think what it is, people think of it as a joke, and oftentimes this happens when you're in a group and you're laughing about it. 'Cause it's like, oh, stop moving it. I'm not moving it. Yeah, you are. You know.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. But yeah, that is the Zozo entity, freaky little big dude we know a lot about and yet so little about.
It's pretty interesting stuff. I don't think I could see myself messing around with any of those things. It's like I said, it's very interesting. It's fascinating, you know, to hear stories and stuff like that. But for me to personally go out and seek it, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend you do it. I mean, I know there's someone out there who's going to be listening. They're probably going to try it. And as a matter of fact, you're doing so at your own risk. Unexplained possibilities. And Erica, we are not telling you to go and do it. You're doing so at your own risk. And we advise against it.
Absolutely.
So something else cool about spirit boards is you can not only communicate with spirits, but apparently you can also communicate with some extraterrestrials. I'm not entirely sure how that works, but I think it has to do with them being more spiritually in tune. And I guess you just have to hit the right chord, almost like a medium. Sometimes mediums are able to channel extraterrestrials.
Interesting.
But I don't know if they're actually extraterrestrials as they are interdimensional.
That's what I was thinking, like other dimensions. In other words, people parallel universes or something like that.
Yeah, so that I don't know. But they do claim to be extraterrestrials, and they have communicated through Ouija boards before. I don't know what type of information they got or get. Alright, so, Erica.
Yes.
There's absolutely nothing I can do to get you to even touch a Ouija board or a spirit board.
No, sorry. I still have my grandmother's voice in my head.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Out of everything we discussed, what's your takeaway from it?
I mean, I'm kind of still a little baffled by, the topic in a sense that, I mean, it's fascinating, obviously. It's anything like that is fascinating. It always piques my curiosity, but baffled in the sense that I don't see what drives people to seek it out in the first place. I guess for me, I wouldn't have a motivation or need. And I know you said a lot of people do it for fun, but even so, I don't see how that could be fun.
Okay.
So I just wonder how people, what moves people to seek it out, even if it's not for fun, let's say.
Let's change perspective then. Your tarot cards, do you consider that, fun or a hobby or anything?
I don't consider it fun.
Oh, well.
I don't consider it a hobby though. It's more like, an interest maybe. So I guess maybe I'm being a little bit biased here.
The Ouija could be considered an interest. A lot of people, like the cards, they will use it for advice and trying to get an understanding of some things. Similar, but again, different.
Okay. Yeah, and see, that's what I was wondering. I was like, are they looking for, answers to life's problems? Is that why they're seeking it out? Like, besides the fun factor that they might find in it.
Yeah, and then unfortunately, what happens is they'll get addicted to it. Like, it's weird, man. I just really don't understand that part. Probably because I never used one. Mm-hmm. But it's like you just become addicted to that energy, and you just want to do it more and more.
Yeah, and for me, like with the cards, I don't ever experience that. It's more or less I need a break from them. You know what I mean?
I could see how that would be exhausting too, because you're taking on other people's energy.
Yes.
And
my own, I'm exhausting mine just to be able to get, a reading out.
Yeah, so I'm surprised you're not burnt out.
I have been actually. I think that's what a lot of it delayed my September readings to come out. Not only that, I had so much going on in my life too. At the same time, I had so many readings I was trying to knock out on top of the 12 that I'm doing for the free monthlies on my channel. So yeah, I did have some burnout. A lot of people aren't understanding of that. They don't realize how, it's difficult to get all of these out, onto the channel. And then on top of, that, the personal readings, work, home, all these things, they're not very understanding of that. They think you're a machine. And it's really not the case.
And it's funny because I never hear stories about burnout with dealing with Ouija. I don't know why that is. It's always the opposite. Like, you just want to do it more and more and more and more. But I also hear, too, when you finally stop and you're able to break away from it, you feel drained. And it's like, whoa. So it's like you're using your energy, but you're getting something back from it. But when you snip
temporarily.
But when you snip that connection, that's it. And it's just like you wake up.
Wow. Yeah, I don't need anything like that in my life.
Okay, so no Ouija gift for you or nothing. All right. I'll just send you a doll.
No, not either. I'm like super I don't want to say superstitious, but just I don't want to take chances with anything. And I'm very protective of my being, and stuff like that. Even doing YouTube's hard because you open yourself up to all kinds of people, and you obviously know what that was about. Recently. So yeah, it's like I try to be, protect myself any way that I can, and that wouldn't be conducive to that. So.
All right. So with that said, I want to thank you so much for coming on and discussing this different topic with me and filling in for Rose.
Thank you for having me because I know nothing on this topic. So the fact that you even tolerated my ignorance on the subject is honorable.
Oh, it wasn't bad. You're fine. So, but thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Anytime. It's always fun.
Erica, where can we find you?
You can catch me on YouTube. My channel name is Tarot Wisdom, Musings of a Modern Day Oracle, but just type in Tarot Wisdom and I'll pop up for your free monthly zodiac readings via tarot every month.
Okay. And what about the Twitter?
Yes, at her, H-E-R, Tarot Wisdom is where you'll find me. If you follow me on Twitter, it's just basically me updating you to let you know my progress, when the videos will be up, to tell you I'm working on them and things like that. So you could get first dibs, to find out how soon your videos will be uploaded if you follow me on Twitter.
And those links will be in the description.
Awesome.
So, and don't forget to follow Unexplained Possibilities on Facebook and Twitter. And with that said, guys, remember, there are things that go bump in the night. Remember to say hi. Bye, everybody.
Bye.